Delirium is so interesting and weird at the same time. I'm going to read to you directly off the American Journal of Psychiatry. They define delirium as a syndrome of acute brain failure that is a direct pathophysiologic consequence of an underlying medical condition or toxin exposure. They go on to talk about how it affects several domains at once, and they give a very in-depth, it could be this, it could be this, could be this. The best way that I've understood and have personally worked with delirium, I find that most of us are very comfortable with the idea, all of us should be, of dreaming at night. And we accept the fact that when we're dreaming, we have a very different reality than when we're awake. And it seems, this is my opinion, that when somebody is either in a medical place, or let's say they have an infection or a drug reaction or something like that, and the older you get, the more susceptible you probably would be to this. I see the reality that you experience when you're awake and the reality that you have when you're dreaming start to blend. And sometimes you get these very dramatic, hyperactive, confused, wild behaviors that you would never see. There are different types of delirium. Obviously, that's a hyperactive delirium, and there is a hypoactive, and then there's a mix of the two. But in general, when we're talking about delirium, for the most part, we are talking about how to prevent, because that is going to be the most important thing that you can do. We often reach in our toolbox and grab antipsychotics, especially in the hospital. What I tell patients and I tell families is that these are a short-term win for a long-term loss. Most of the evidence is very controversial about using them because they don't seem to have a benefit in the long run, and they can introduce a lot of harms. But they make us feel better because we can calm down somebody's agitated state. And there is a place for that if a person is a danger to themselves. But outside of that, my personal opinion is that we need to be very cautious about how we use that, and we make sure that that is not the first thing that we reach for. If I had one big takeaway, I think the goal here is really trying to get a person feeling like a human again, and you try and remove one by one everything that is sort of confusing your situation. So if there's an infection, you deal with it. If there's medications that either need to be taken, haven't been taken, or should be taken, that you address those and you get them back to their baseline. And then third, that you really try and resimulate normal things like day, night, when you're supposed to eat, when you're supposed to be taking a break, engaging, talking, interacting with a person. That's my own take on it. Hopefully that is very well supported by the evidence.